Everybody, it's Wednesday, so it's time for the Ravens Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. We want to thank you here, giving us another week. So thank all of you out here for watching all of our content, growing our numbers. We appreciate it. Royal Rumble, that's wrestling. Rumble numbers have been going up. A couple people added on Spotify, so we appreciate that. Also, to X, been a little frustrated with X. Kind of can't get it back because I was hacked and all that. Can't get it back to where I was a little frustrated with X. But Facebook, we're getting there. So I want to thank all of you for doing that as well, for joining up all of our platforms. There's content every day on the X page, also too on the Facebook page. Every day there's daily posting and everything there. Rivalry Sports, blogspot.com. So definitely to every day, usually around 1,700 words for Ravens content, Orioles content. We do that every morning, Monday through Friday. It's available every morning at 6 a.m. Usually, if you check out our Facebook page, if you check out our Twitter page, it's there. Sometimes on LinkedIn even as well, we'll do things like that. So definitely you'll check out the blogs and everything. We appreciate all that. Genesis Notary Services. Now, unfortunately, I had to move the live stream until Saturday. I couldn't do it on Monday. So we're going to go ahead and live stream on Saturday, Genesis Notary Services as well. And we'll go ahead and do that on Saturday. So I apologize if anybody was thinking that it was going to be Monday. It was supposed to be Monday at 12, but unfortunately we had to move it. Circumstances beyond our control, right? To 6 o'clock. So it'll be Saturday at 12 o'clock as well. And we're definitely going to talk about the new notary businesses, the changes, some of the things we're doing now as well. Running efficient in 3 different states. We appreciate that actually happened. We're going to be working on the process server if you need that. So keep that in mind as well. Harris Legal Shield. July 4th, we're going to have a live stream for that as well. So definitely has been a while since we talked about, we had a whole stream for legal. I didn't realize it today. It's like, man, it's been a while. So let's go ahead. And for those of you out there, these streams also too will be on the Rivalry Sports website as well. So the Rivalry Sports audience as well. So it'll be a little different. Some of you, if you are looking for help with your legal information and legal insurance, save you a lot of money. I can tell you, it can save you a lot of time. Even if you have to go suit, it get you discounts for that. But not just discounts. You get to talk to a lawyer immediately if you ever need one. So it's important. So definitely go ahead and check that out. And also as well, get the banners back up. Also as well, instant reaction, July 11th, 2026, Orioles and the Royals, where we're definitely going to talk about the game. That's a Saturday night, right around 9 o'clock. And that's also the night the draft was on Sunday. It's on Saturday, so we'll be coming on Saturday. We're going to be talking about the first couple picks of the MLB draft. We're going to be talking about the Orioles. So one of our baseball-only streams kind of become a tradition here right around the All-Star break as well. 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about who we think is going to be in the All-Star game as well. And the flagship, rivalrysports.company.site, Fanatics links are everywhere, especially during games. So check that out. All right. As always, interesting stuff. Talking football tonight. We'll get to the Ravens OTAs. Massive trades. One we saw coming and one we definitely didn't see coming. Crazy. The Myles Garrett trade. But we're going to start tonight with what we've been talking about the last few weeks. We've been talking about free agents. And so free agency, again, is making a team, enhancing a team better. How fitting with the trade that we just had with Myles Garrett and Jared Verse and the picks. Moving players to make your team better. So free agency is a little different. So this is the best way to get a player, in my opinion, a free agent. That's a veteran player because guys available, you don't have to give up anything, and you can make impact. The hardest to do, obviously. More, it's easier to get a player-for-player trade or get something back, et cetera. That's how you get good players and get something back. So this is the best players. So these are the best players in the history of the NFL to enhance a team with being totally free and available for whatever reason, different reasons. We'll go over that. So, who were the 20 best NFL free agents of all time as well? This took a while because this was hard. So, one more thing. We'll talk about Kevin Mawae in a second, but one other thing. Things I look at here is getting a good player, obviously, but how was the impact of the team that went well? So if a team went all the way to the Super Bowl, big impact. Or if a team got much better, championship round, whatever, not as good, but kind of the thing. Also, leaning also towards teams, you get a player and they become foundational. So even better. So you win and you get foundational, and the team got better in the process. So all the way up. Number 20, Kevin Mawae for the New York Jets. Mawae, I think, was one of the better players in the NFL. One of the better players as well. So a center. So this was kind of more when free agency was just kind of starting. The league was just trying to figure it out. And the Jets, this is Bill Parcells. If you look at him, he was a guy, the Jets, believe it or not, this was Jets weren't any good, if y'all can believe that, obviously. But Bill Parcells kind of turned it around. We're going to start looking like the Jets of the 69. He changed the uniforms, etc. He brings a guy like Kevin Mawae in. Mawae, I think, was one of the better offensive line additions of all time. Mawae, I think, probably one of the best Hall of Fame level players as well. Really changed things, really solidified the line, which is a total mess before it got there. Number 20, Kevin Mawae. Number 19, Revis Island, Darrelle Revis. The only reason this is so low is because he was only really there for 1 year. This is the best 1 year rental maybe in the history of the NFL. He comes in from a contending team, from a good team. We talked about the Jets, good for several years, and he comes in 2014, and he was the 1 year rental that got the Patriots over the top in the Super Bowl. And this was a really good addition for the Patriots. Revis, I think, is very even now underrated as one of the greatest corners of all time. He definitely too. This was his prime years, towards the end of his prime, and he got the Pats to the Super Bowl. I think without this addition, I'm not sure the Pats won the Super Bowl that year because they really need to help the corner. You get Revis in. Number 19, number 18, the great Jerry Rice. Number 20, number 18, 2001 for the Raiders. Raiders didn't win a Super Bowl with Jerry Rice, so that kind of factored in a little bit. The only reason this guy was available because he was so old. Like the Niners thought he was through, thought it was the end of his career. He goes to another team, crossed the bay in Oakland at the time, Oakland Raiders, and he was phenomenal. Him and Tim Brown were fantastic for a few years as well. They really had Rich Gannon there, really made it well good. Really, Jerry Rice was a phenomenal. Jerry Rice, I think, is the best football player in the history of the NFL at any position. I have him number one above Tom Brady, above Peyton Manning, above anybody you think of. And I think this addition, obviously, to get Jerry Rice really helped the Raiders a lot in 01. Again, the Raiders had a good team back then as well. Best record in the AFC around this time, so definitely a great addition as well. Under the radar a bit in terms of being a great free agent, signing Ndamukong Suh for the Bucks. Under the radar because another guy on this list, but Suh really brought back the defense. So many years in Tampa, been known for the Super Bowl run in the early 2000. You had Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Lynch, had that defensive reputation, but they really needed a guy of impact. Again, a little bit better to me because he stayed a couple years than Revis, but similar, really the ultimate sniper type pick. Suh, I think, was so good on so many levels. He was a tackler, inside, rush game, good run stopper, good pass rusher, great size, big, strong. I thought Suh was outstanding. for them as well. I thought it made a big impact on their defense. Even though they had Tom Brady on the team, they definitely need help on defense as well. I think Sue had a huge impact. Number 17. Number 16, Stephon Gilmore. This guy even went farther than Revis did. Again, this was a guy the Patriots brought in. A little bit of a surprise that they did. I mean, they kind of pared down some of the receivers, got rid of some receivers the year before, kind of with Malcolm Butler, etc. And Gilmore became the number one receiver, became a defensive player of the year, really became one of the really good Patriot players and one of the best players defensively in the league as well. Really shut down stuff while he was there. So he was really good before that in Buffalo. But I think a lot of us would agree. We kind of remember him more as a New England Patriot. 2017 Patriots again during that great run where they had Brady, etc. So I think Gilmore was an outstanding corner for them. They needed corners too in New England. They didn't have this killer pass rush at all times. I mean, they had decent pass rushers, decent defenses, but they really relied on solid corner play as well. And they got it with Revis. Previously, they had some good corners throughout there. Gilmore, I think, was an excellent signing for them 2017 at McCourty Brothers, guys like that. Steve Hutchinson, number 15 for the Minnesota Vikings. You don't talk about guards, but if you do, this is one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL at guard, Steve Hutchinson. And this was a huge signing for Minnesota, really a stalwart for them. Hutchinson was the thing, like as well. Signed with Seattle. I think it was Seattle. I think it was drafted by Seattle. And he was a fantastic player for years. High draft pick as well. Good right from the start. Great for the Vikings as well. Vikings really during the era, they had Brett Favre there for a while. Vikings really became a guy that they relied on for years, improved their offensive line. I think Hutchinson really was a building block player for them, despite the fact that he was a free agent. They brought him in for another team. Hutchinson, number 16 for the Vikings, 2006, outstanding signing. And number 15, I'm sorry, 2006. Number 14, Andrew Whitworth. I don't know if there's ever been a better left tackle in the history of the LA Rams, and that's saying something, better than Whitworth was. So when they brought him in, this guy, another one, like you talk about free agents on the list, you kind of think of him as on a different team. This guy's a Ram. The success of the Rams they've had, this guy, the offensive line success that they've had, they still really haven't even really replaced this guy. This guy's been fantastic for them as well. So you look at the success that Sean McVay has had. I think it's two guys, Aaron Donald, who's rumored to be coming back, want to play with Myles Garrett. Now I can't blame him. Well, that's all nothing. But Andrew Whitworth, I think, could come out of retirement too and make want to play with Garrett as well as a teammate. Whitworth was fantastic for the Rams. I think he was definitely one of the better offensive linemen, if not one of the best top 5 offensive tackles in the league as well, protecting Jared Goff, etc., and Stafford. So I think Whitworth, I think, is right there. Shannon Sharpe. I've said it again. I've said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't think the Ravens is. You talk about the great defense. We know how good Ray Lewis was, and Suggs, and Boulware, and all those guys, etc. But you have to add. They had to add on offense. They had to add a difference maker on offense, and there it is, right there. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, I think, is for the longest time. I thought he was the best tight end in the history of the NFL. I don't have him there anymore, but certainly top 5. This was a massive addition, getting him away from Denver. Denver, again, kind of like Jerry Rice, kind of thought he was past his prime. But I think Shannon Sharpe, I don't think they win the Super Bowl without Shannon Sharpe. Having really being encouraging to Trent Dilfer and the whole season there. They didn't have a lot of weapons. I thought it was him and Jamal on offense. So I think Sharpe, I really believe they don't win the Super Bowl without getting Sharpe. I think this was the biggest free agent signing in Ravens history. Number 13, Shannon Sharpe. Number 12, Saquon Barkley. So we got a nowadays player. And getting Barkley, I thought he was just terrific when they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, Saquon. So so many years Saquon was kind of wasted in New York. Um, had some good years, 1,000 yards, 1,300 yards one year. As soon as he goes to Philly, 2,000 yards. He was fantastic. Even last year, where it kind of felt like a bit of a down year, he almost 1,200 yards, 7 TDs. So this guy is the goods. I thought this was a excellent addition, Super Bowl effective. Uh, I don't think, again, you don't bring in Saquon Barkley, you can go ahead and win a Super Bowl. It's a bit of a projection, but certainly he's going to be foundational. I think he's going to be remembered more as a Eagle as well going forward. I think he's definitely got several more years in him as well. Saquon's still, 29 years old, so just turned 29. So definitely Saquon, I think, is a real deal. Number 12, number 11, Priest Holmes from the Ravens to the Chefs. And Holmes, I think, was one of the better running backs in the NFL at that time. You could argue right around this time that he was the best running back in the league, either that or Marshall Faulk. Definitely there was nobody like him. Definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. He was the offense in a lot of ways for him and Trent Green as well. He had the 1,000-yard season. I mentioned it before with the Ravens but he had the 1,000-yard season, and then the Ravens go out and they draft Jamal Lewis. So Jamal Lewis obviously had that rookie year, kind of made Priest expendable. And so he goes out and signs with another team, obviously, because he's not starting anymore. And then he goes and becomes one of the best running backs in the NFL, 1,500 yards with Kansas City, several times, 1,400 yards or more, 3 straight years. I think this was probably a team obviously without a great defense at the time. So they definitely needed the great running back production. So I think this is one of the better off the board ones, like ones that you didn't see coming. A guy that was one of the great running backs, Priest Holmes, 2001. Number 10, my favorite Martin, Curtis Martin. New England, this was really at the time a bit of a surprise. I'm thinking this is right, and they kind of worded it differently in all the research I did it, but he was a guy that was a unrestricted free agent that was franchised, and the team still signed him. Right? They gave up. So there was draft picks involved, but he was a free agent signing. So he was an unrestricted free agent. New England franchises him, and the Jets still sign him. And so they had to give up a first and a third when you sign a unrestricted free agent that's a franchise player. So I think this is one of the few times a guy's been signed off the franchise tag. And it was well worth it for the Jets because Curtis Martin was, I think, one of the better running back. I mean, he's the guy certainly that you think of. I mean, I think it was 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons for Curtis Martin as well. I would say like he's kind of somewhat forgotten because he wasn't an uber. It's going to sound bad to say, but he use a basketball term. He wasn't a highlight film, right? He wasn't like if you watch the film of Curtis Martin, you're not like, oh my God, it was like a Barry Sanders, like a Jerome Bettis running over people. But Martin, hey, consistent seasons over and over and over. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 seasons over 1,000 yards. His best season, I think, was 04. And it was like here we had almost 1,700. So he's a stud. I think this was probably the shifted the atmosphere absolutely for the Jets as well. Getting Curtis Martin, how bad would they have been without him? Number 9, a Steeler. Yes. Some people are going to say this is weird because James Harrison was with the Steelers as an undrafted free agent. It's kind of hard to believe when you think about it now that nobody drafted James Harrison. So they let him go, and he signs again off the street Nobody really wanted him. They gave him another shot, and then the rest is history. He becomes one of the best players. James Harrison puts the fear of God in you. I think James Harrison is one of the scariest adults alive. Like two adults you don't want to see in the alley. Like I'll like he's right up there with Michael Jai White. Like, no, I'm good, man. I can't help. Like he is a scary dude, physical, ferocious guy, and just a guy who just worked. He just worked his way. Wasn't a guy came in. I think he came. I will say he came to the right team, a team that knows how to develop outside linebackers, edge rushers, etc. So I think that was helping. But Harrison was a beast in every way. You can fix it. Number 8, Warren Moon. My mom always liked Warren Moon for whatever reason. Weren't many black quarterbacks around this time. Warren Moon, there was an old joke back in the 80s. Warren Moon, no Randall Cunningham. Like, because there's only 2. Warren Moon, you say he's a free agent. How? He was from Canada, another street free agent. So a guy, there was actually a bidding war because he was so good in Canada as well. And you want to talk about a guy that changed the whole thing. Warren had a tremendous offense. The offensive production we're seeing now, I think it's in part because of Warren Moon and the run and shoot offense, more passing, more production. That's what it was. There was a time in the league where it was a rare thing for teams to pass. From teams, it wasn't a thing where teams ran more. Most teams ran more than they passed. The Oilers were not doing that. We're going to split out wides. We're going to have no tight ends. We're going to have this. And this guy was perfect. Warren Moon, I think everything but a Super Bowl. Everything but a Super Bowl. I think this was one of the greatest free agents additions. I think he was number 8 as well. That's probably the only reason that this isn't higher. But this was great. Warren Moon, I think, was fantastic. Number 7, Kurt Warner. So, again, another near miss of a Super Bowl as well. Kurt Warner, nobody thought that he was any good anymore. Had a great little run with the Rams. Kind of had his job taken by Bolger, so they moved him to New York. At the same time, Eli Manning was there. He had some injuries, and so he had to move again once they were ready to start Eli Manning. And then the rest is history with the Cardinals. I think he had a tremendous run. This solidified, I think, his Hall of Fame resume. So the Cardinals just took a shot because of the Cardinals, and it was fantastic. Him and Larry Fitzgerald did great things together. Nearly won the Super Bowl, rooting for them, of course, because they were going against Pittsburgh. But good stuff here. I think Kurt Warner, I think, is one of the – I think this run with the Cardinals solidified him in the Hall of Fame. Now we're getting to the top. Charles Woodson of the Packers, number 6. I have him at corner. He did play safety, I know. I think this was a guy who transcended not just the signing, but the team. You think of him as a Packer now. I think what he was able to do, he was one of the better corners in the league. Kind of like underrated, kind of like him and Rod Woodson kind of aren't talked about as much. But this would really help the Packers a lot back in the day. Getting a guy like Charles Woodson to really solidify the defense. It's so important. These guys, Revis, Gilmore, Woodson, you got to solidify the back end. It's very, very hard for teams to find a guy. When you can get a guy like this, you do all you can. And Woodson, I think, was a NFL Defensive Player of the Year level guy for them as well. So it was a huge signing, getting Charles Woodson from the Raiders. Number 5, everybody knows this guy, Deion Sanders, 1994. You could easily say he could be on this list for Dallas the next year. I think this was more impactful, 94. Because I'm not sure, as great as the Niners were, and this was kind of towards their tail end of their greatness, that without a Deion Sanders, that they win the Super Bowl. They brought Deion Sanders in. He didn't play in Atlanta. He wanted to play on a better team. They bring Deion in, and they win the Super Bowl. You saw it the next year. With Dallas, they won the Super Bowl because at this time he was still playing baseball. So he was only playing like half the year, which is hard for anybody to believe now. But Deion, I think, was fantastic. Dion, I really think that was the difference. The one thing the Niners didn't have was a shutdown corner. They absolutely had a shutdown corner as well. So Deion Sanders, 1994, I think that was impactful. Obviously, the GOAT Tom Brady, number 4 for the Bucks. Look, Brady, I think, is the greatest quarterback that ever laced him up. I don't think it's close. I mean, you can not like Brady or whatever else. The stats just bear it out. He is far superior stat wise to everyone else. And Brady 2020 Bucks kind of came out of the slumber and won the Super Bowl. Where Brady goes, it went. Won a Super Bowl for him. Huge impact. Changed the whole franchise. A couple years he was there as well. Brady, even now, they're still a better team. I think, even though he's retired, because Brady was there and he was able to elevate him as well. So I think Brady, no question about it. Number 4, Tom Brady, only a few years, which is why he's here. Peyton Manning, I have a little bit above him, won a few times. I'll have Manning above Brady. I'll have Manning above Brady, simply because here I think the impact in Denver was huge. They would have had Tim Tebow as their starter if Peyton Manning hadn't showed up in Denver. I think the only reason he ever showed up in Denver was because he had the injury the year before, and the Colts were so bad that the number 1 pick, Andrew Luck, was a consensus number 1. They went ahead and moved on. The Broncos were fortunate to get him, and Manning goes wins the Super Bowl with him. I don't know if he was quite the same player. Certainly his last year or so he wasn't. But Manning, I think, was the real deal. Obviously, this was huge. Denver really, really getting this really solidified them to a Super Bowl as well. Obviously, Peyton Manning, number 2 and 1. Go ahead and argue. Because I think these are really close. Drew Brees, 2006. I'm still admitting the Ravens weren't in on this as well. But the rest is history here. The Saints become, I think, one of the greatest. Listen to you take away. Let me tell you something. You take away the Drew Brees era, like the Chicago Bulls. Take away the Jordan era, and what do you have? Saints. You take away the Drew Brees era. What do you have? This guy was leading them to winning a team franchise that perpetually lost. Bringing him in, I think, was the thing. Unbelievable. Ravens weren't at all interested. The whole saga, Nick Saban wanting to bring him into Miami because of the shoulder injury, which is why he was being let go in San Diego in the drafting of Phillip Rivers. They wound up passing the medicals. Saints went ahead and signed them, took advantage. The rest is history. Culpepper, they actually did sign, washes out. Breeze, I think, is Hall of Fame worthy, easy, coasting already into the Hall of Fame. One of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL history of the NFL. I still have it number 2, but times the guy, I think, that created free agency. And I think that's why I still have 1. The Packers go win the Super Bowl with the great Reggie White, the Minister of Defense. And also, too, I think with White, the impact of getting free agency. He was one of the guys that fought to get a free agency as well. And a tremendous impact. I think one of the greatest defensive players. The club move, I think, is the skyhook, etc. Indefensible as well. Number 1, Reggie White. I think Reggie White, one of the greatest defensive players in the history of the NFL. I think he's still number 1 greatest free agent signing ever. There you go. All right. So there you go. Top 20 free agents of all time as well for the Ravens. So there you go. Thank you for that. And everybody out there watching, go ahead. This will be posted on social media tomorrow. Go ahead and argue with me if you want as well. You'll be wrong, but you can go ahead and argue like that. Reggie White, I think, is the greatest of all time. I don't think there was a better free agent acquisition in the history of the NFL than Reggie White. I think Breeze, if you say Drew Brees, I don't have a real problem with that either. Simply because in those 2 guys, they also were not only great pickups, great years of findings, but the fabric of the city and the linchpin over a long period, I think is true with both guys. So not only did you get the pickup for the Super Bowl, you got guys to change your whole thing as well. So there you go. Top 20 free agent signings ever. OTAs about done. Final week here of OTAs. We talked about it here. We've been talking about the OTAs here as well. Don't have a lot on the OTAs. Lamar is here. I think much too much is being made of attendance for Lamar and everything like that. Lamar is in camp. He has not talked about his contract. I think that's the real issue. They're still negotiating. I think both sides are tough negotiators. I think that's a thing that'll get done as well. Mentioning Keandre Jackson, who was a standout as well, big in the competition there as well for the Ravens. Ravens looking for some depth safety help. A little bit more of a thing, a little bit of a competition there as far as safety help. Tyler Luke has looked good so far. That's good as well. Going to be some heat on him, obviously, because he missed the last kick at the end of the year. So we will see there. Mike Green offered praise from Anthony Weaver. So that's a thing there as well. Definitely too, Declan Doyle introducing his new offense. No more fullback. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to look as well, because now you have a new fullback as well. You're not going to have a fullback. You're going to have a whole bunch of tight ends. How is this going to look as well? Do want to mention one more thing here along with Ravens OTAs. Rest in peace to Raymond Berry, former Baltimore Colt. All my father ever talked about was how good of a player Raymond Berry was, along with Johnny Unitas as well. Those era of guys that actually lived in Baltimore, right? Jim Parker would always he had for years. He had a business in Baltimore. Another former Colt, Art Donovan, they actually lived and worked, and Tom Manny and Lenny Moore and those guys. So he was also too NFL coach for a while. Raymond Berry, I think he was with New England when they went to the Super Bowl. So definitely shout out Raymond Berry. But OTAs as well, I think the Ravens had good attendance. I think they're happy. Rashard Bateman did miss some games. And again, personal reasons, OTAs, take for what it's worth. These guys are just getting their feet wet, getting in shape, getting some work in. Really, I think what they want to do, honestly, is to pick up the playbook. I think that's the main thing, especially for veteran players with the OTAs. So there you go. Mini camps are next. All right. It's here, and it's going on right now. Let's go ahead and check the scores. In the second quarter right now, 31-28, the Spurs and the Knicks, and we got the NBA Finals going on right now. So the New York Knicks and the Spurs. So 1999. So it was the last time we had these two teams in the NBA Finals. Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, Grandmama for the Knicks. On the other side, the first time to ever go into the NBA Finals, the Spurs from the Spurs dynasty was 99. The great Tim Duncan, David Robinson was still on the team at the time, Sean Elliott, etc. They actually went to the NBA Finals and won it in 99 in 5 games. Now these two teams are back in the finals here as well. Spurs. Let's talk about the Spurs. I'm going to talk about the Thunder a little bit too. Spurs and Thunder. First of all, Thunder real quick. Thunder, do not tear that team up. Do not do something dumb. Do not go out and get Giannis. Do not do that. Like, it's the old expression from the movie Any Given Sunday. Inch of the game, every inch, the inches we need are all around us. The Spurs are just this much better than the Thunder are. So please do not go out and just tear your team up and do all these weird things as well. The Spurs are just so, like, I mean, a razor thin better than the Thunder. What did happen in that series for the Thunder? Two things did happen. One, The Spurs have more depth offensively. We're going to talk about that. So I think the Thunder did get exposed with not having Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well. He's not 30 points and all that other stuff. The other offensive pieces around them aren't as good. They kind of feed off him, and that kind of got exposed. They don't have guys. I said it a couple years ago with Jameer Young with the Terps. Kind of same thing. Other guys would have good nights if he's having a good night. The Spurs have guys who can have good nights on their own. And I think that happened. So you take his production down a little bit. They didn't have J-Dub, Jalen Williams. That hurt him. Chet Holmgren, not nearly as good. Hartstein, not nearly as good. Worried about Wembanyama. So that was just enough to go ahead and beat the Thunder. And that's the thing in the offseason. Holmgren, I'm just telling Holmgren, Williams, and those guys, get in the gym, get better, do what you can, and get better. I wouldn't make mass changes in Thunder. That's crazy. Don't do that. You're going to have a lot of commentators say, that's not what you should be doing. But, however, to beat the Spurs going forward, it won't be easy. But it's definitely there. I definitely think these two teams are going to be right there. So the Spurs and the Thunder, absolutely, as well. This series, the finals, the Knicks and the Spurs. I don't think the Knicks have much of a chance. I've kind of said that several times. They've been really good in the playoffs, obviously. Look, they haven't lost since the first round as well. 2 straight sweeps, conference finals, conference semifinals. They've been outstanding as well. So I really don't, I really don't want to be too disrespectful. Jalen Brunson, I think, is one of the better players in the NBA. He's showing you that. Definitely, he's been really good. Had a good postseason for a lot of their vets as well. So it's not just Karl Anthony Towns, which makes sense. Anobia, every time I see him, I think of Charles Oakley, OG. Definitely just physical for no reason. That's good. Mikal Bridges has been really good for them. Josh Hart, I think, is underrated player. I think he's been good for them. I don't think they're going to have the offensive production that they've been having. They had just 58%. They're not going to do that against the Spurs. They're not going to do that against the Spurs. You're not going to score that many points on this defense. Their defense is just way too good. So you're not going to have that type of success as well. Why should the Spurs win? I think they have 4 guys, and I mentioned that in the blog this morning, that can get you 20 points in a game. Obviously, Wembanyama, obviously, De'Aaron Fox. I think the same is true of Stephon Castle. I think the same is true of Dylan Harper. I think they're all healthy. Plus, you have 4 other guys. I think you talk about guys like Devin Vessel, Julian Champagne, Keldon Johnson. I think those guys also, too, are very capable of not quite as good nights, but they're going to have some really good nights as well. So the Spurs, I think, clearly are the team in this series that's going to win this series. I think they win in 6 games. It's going to be interesting. I think the Knicks are going to fight here, but I really don't see a scenario where they can overtake a really good Spurs team. But no disrespect either way. I think these 2 teams are here for a reason. So we'll definitely go over that series as well. But I really do think the Spurs time could be here. So they're putting everybody on notice. And this team is still young. I mean, I can't think of a younger starting 5 in the final. I think they're all 25. Champagny 24. Stephon Castle 21. I think De'Aaron Fox, is the oldest one. I think Harrison Barnes, is there. He's like grandpa. He's 34 at this point. How's De'Aaron Fox? De'Aaron Fox is 28. So I think he's their veteran guy. Get used to it. Spurs and the Knicks definitely playing in championship round right now. So definitely that's going on at ESPN, ABC, whatever. Real quick, one more thing. Coverage of the NBA this year, despite all the talk, I thought it was really good in general. ESPN's had it for years. I thought NBC was NBC. I think NBC is the best producing sports of anyone. Them and CBS, I think they're terrific as far as producing everything. So I really wasn't worried about that. I thought Tirico and their team was well. I think their halftime show maybe needs some work, but I thought that was good. Amazon Prime, I didn't watch as much of that, but it was fine. I thought the play-by-play, I think they're a little further away, but I think it was better than I thought. I really think like they're not Netflix or anything. They really seem to have a better handle on it as well. But I thought the coverage overall was really, really good. So Knicks and Spurs again in the finals here as well. All right, let's get the music going. Let's get the charge. Y'all recognize that? So that's the charge. You play it at baseball games. That's all they used to play back in the day is the charge. Now they have a whole rock concert going during the game, or rap or K-pop or whatever your flavor is there. And so let's talk a little baseball summer this week. Hopefully we're going to get somebody here pretty soon for the minor league team. So we did that as well. Talked the other day about on the post I was posting on Monday about the Florida Coast League Orioles, and I'll put it one of the players in, and he retweeted my post about him during the game. Like, shouldn't he be playing? I was surprised he retweeted it as well. So thank you, Jerry DeVries with Florida Coast League Orioles as well. Let's get to it. The Chesapeake former Bowie Bay Sox as well. Minor league names, notable names. So Brian Shillcross is the general manager, been there a long time. Roberto Mercado as well. I don't know if their record's right at this point, 20-28, but they haven't been real good this season as well. So let's talk about some of the names. Luis De Leon, free agent from the Dominican Republic. Not quite as good. ERA is about 5 this year. So still a good prospect for them, but not off to a great start. Griffo Farrell, I compared him to Justin Pedroia. He certainly hasn't hit like Justin Pedroia. He got promoted, at least, unlike Vance Honeycutt, who's still in single A. Offense hasn't been there. He's had some injuries, too. I think that hasn't helped either. But the offense hasn't been there. That's why he's not in the better performers category. Frederick Buscom, again in Chesapeake, doing better this year. Definitely a free agent from the Dominican Republic as well. So who's playing well as well? And the numbers are not in order, not really, but just gives you an idea. Aaron Estrada, so definitely he's been good for them. You can argue he's been their best player. 24, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, 271 average for him. He's bigger than he looks, bigger than I thought. Like, as far as him, I kind of do dig, even though he's a middle infielder, plate presence. You know, he kind of has that as well. Kind of got more pop in his bat than you suspect for a guy who's been a middle infielder his whole career as well. So hitting 271, 7 home runs, 23 RBIs. I think he's been really good for them. 271, that's really good. So we just talked about Griffo Farrell and Vance Honeycutt as well. There was a guy in that same draft that was drafted behind him who's been playing very well. Ethan Anderson from the University of Virginia is 22 years old, 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. I don't sleep on this guy. So definitely I was really impressed with him in college when I saw him, and it's definitely been fairly impressive as well. So of those guys, you kind of like him a little bit later. He's been really good as well. He's definitely going to be in AAA I think at some point this year as well. So definitely too. Still a good group of catchers they have. Not top 10 baseball, not quite there yet, but we're definitely going to see good prospects next week when we talk about Frederick. But definitely keep an eye on him. I think it definitely too. I don't think a major league career is out in the offing. Tavian Jonesberger, center fielder, definitely too, leading the team in stolen bases with 17. Not hitting for average as much, 221, but 3 home runs, 26 RBIs. Very good defensively. Very impressive with his speed, very impressive in the outfield. You see like clips of him, man, and he's like snatching away home runs several times. And that tells you what they think of his defensively. I think potential is there. I think him on defense. Thomas Sosa is a name. He's been in the Orioles system for a while, working his way all the way up from Dominican Republic. 4 home runs, 21 RBIs as well. We'll see. I think power numbers still have to grow. Pitching, Sebastian Gongoria as well. Best pitcher there for them this year. I think 51 strikeouts as well. 2.356 ERA. Been solid. Not a hard thrower. Not with the blue heat and everything like that, but definitely has been solid for them. Evan Yates, also in the rotation for them. Kind of the same, kind of more of a crafty guy, not really the blue heat. It's okay that if you don't throw 97, 98, you could pitch and get to the major, especially if you're a starter like these guys. It's okay. Let's see how they do for the rest of the year. 35 strikeouts as well. And then the bullpen, Micah Ashman, 34 strikeouts, 1-1, 2.348 ERA. I think Ashman, I think last year they had a guy, Keegan Gillies, might have overcooked it a little as well because he was so good in the bullpen. So Ashman, I think, is a guy you want to keep an eye on. I think definitely he could take the path of Anthony Nunez at some point where he gets into the bullpen. So keep that in mind. And next week, we'll talk about the Keys. There you go. All right, so those are the Chesapeake Bay Sox as well, formerly Bowie Bay Sox. So definitely check out the Bay Sox as well. Next week, we're going to talk about, obviously, they're back in the Orioles organization, the Frederick Keys, as well. I'm very excited about that. It's simply because it's close to my home. The Keys, I get to go to a Keys game and I get to watch. And I think, too, the Keys, they have the best talent as far as potential major league talent in the Orioles organization right now. That's when you want to know where the prospects are. That's where they are in Frederick as well. Okay. So we're in June, and so we're going to recap the month of May. Got a bit of a resurgence. Tonight's not our night. Obviously, the Orioles were terrible as well. Bassett got beat up again. But the end of May started. They won the last 7 out of 10, 4th in the East at the end of the month, 30, 28, 32. It could have been much, much worse. So they won some games at the end. They seem to be finding their footing as well. So let's go over that. Taylor Ward. Average has dropped, but he's still consistently getting on base. He's getting at least 1 hit, get a little number. So we're not seeing the power numbers like maybe we had hoped, but he's getting on base. He's getting on base. And he's gotten a little better in left. He can only get better. He was terrible at the beginning of the year. So I think we're seeing it now. And May is, I think, a true indicator. Guys have found their footing. You've been playing baseball for a while. Now you're seeing it. But he's still getting on base. I've got no problem with that. I got no problem with him getting on base. He's giving you something. I always like guys pesky to keep off the bases. Number one. Gunnar Henderson leading the team in home runs. The average needs to improve. He still looks like he's pressing a bit. That's at the plate at times. I don't think he's relaxed enough at the plate. I think he still looks like, to me, he's a guy that's pressing and pushing at times unnecessarily. But that's it. But I think he's been good as well. I think also, too, his defense has gotten better, I think, in May as well. The defense overall has gotten much better. Pete Alonso, power numbers are there. He's starting to look like Pete Alonso. The average is improving. He's intense. He's fun to watch. He's definitely intense, whether he's good at the plate or whether he's bad. But the power numbers are there. He had the walk-off the other day. we're getting what we're paying for now. He's looking really good. Adley's still been solid. I think he wasn't so good lately, but Adley, I got no problem with Adley. The way he's giving us the Adley we all expect as well. Samuel Basayo definitely put himself in contention for the AL Rookie of the Year. Not the front runner, but definitely there. This guy's hitting for power. He's a good hitter. I definitely think I'm seeing it. Doesn't not a gorgeous swing, I guess, but again, kind of like we just talked about with Strada, he's more powerful than he looks. I don't even mean that to be insulting, but it definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't intimidate. But he's definitely more powerful than he looks. Leody Taveras, only true real center fielder on the MLB roster. Yeah, I mean, I got no problem putting him in center field every day. He's a good defensive player. He's going to give you some production offensively. He's a solid major leaguer. Not a great player by any means, but a solid major leaguer. Tyler O'Neill, I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, I don't. He's probably playing more because of the Dylan Beavers injury, but man, he's been bad. I mean, the only thing we're getting from him is throws from right field. Like, that's about all you're getting from him. Kobe Mayo, I think, is heating up lately, even since I wrote this. I mean, he's been hitting a lot of home runs. You could see the talent that he has. You could clearly see it. Once he got that home run, it really kind of got him off the snide. Now he's on a bit of a heater. He's been doing well. Jackson Holiday, TBA, I think it's good to have him back. He's still working his way back. That's clear. I don't like the yanking him in and out of the lineup, though. Why? I don't, again, they seem to be doing this with a lot of guys, like just yanking them in and out. The first 5, 6, they kind of play every day, and then they kind of want to shift at the bottom a lot as well. Bradish has been the best pitcher that you have now. I think definitely 2, you can list him as your number 1 starter. I don't care about the record 3-6. He was phenomenal. His last start was terrific. That was one of the better starts I've seen on any team all year. Brandon Young, I think clearly you could also put him as the ace. I think he's been solid as well all year. I think he's staying in the rotation regardless of what happens with Dean Kramer or anybody else. Baz finally is coming around. I think he was good the last few starts. Last night he was terrific. So Baz, I think, as well. Again, these records are the end of May, so keep in mind. So I don't think that counts. Yesterday, Bassett was bad again. He got banged up again tonight. Rogers hasn't. He's the only guy that really hasn't recovered as well. He hasn't looked good all year, except for his first 2 starts. Bullpen. Let's shout out Andrew Suarez. Albert Suarez. So they kept sending him down. You know what? The one time they sent him down, I'm an opt for free agent for another team. The next day they go ahead and they give him a contract. Good for him. But he was bad tonight. So that's the thing. Rico Garcia has been fantastic. He could be pitching his way into the All-Star game. Anthony Nunez, after a great start, not so great lately. Keegan Aiken kind of also up and down. Grant Wolfram, 402. Some of these guys, it depends. Kittredge also to average, not great at the end of the month. Cano, I think he's still not on the injured. The talk of he was injured, but as well, he was kind of working his way into favor a little bit. It was clear the manager didn't have a lot of confidence in him. He was kind of working his way in favor. And I think he's had an injury, not an injury, but he hasn't been placed on IL or anything like that. So we'll see. And Tyler Wells, hit and miss. Bullpen's been hit and miss outside of, I think, Rico Garcia. Rico Garcia has been terrific. You see it, 0-7-1, 3 saves, fantastic. Ryan Helsley, we're still waiting on, and Batista, if we ever see him, is here. Talk about that. Ryan Helsley, I don't think illness is right, but still working his way back. Dean Kramer still has a little longer. Zach Eflin, we're definitely not going to have him. Heston Kjerstad was actually optioned, but he's in the minors. Batista, we're still waiting. Delgado, Shelby, we're not going to see those guys. Mountcastle, it'll be a while. Obviously, Westbrook, we know. Beavers, I haven't heard much. I don't really know what's going on exactly with Beavers and Povich. Povich will be a while, even though he's on 15-day, the last of this reporting here as well. Blaze Alexander off the bench has been really good, I think, as well. He's good defensively at different positions, which is always good. So that's a thing as well. Colton Cowser, after a good couple of games, he's kind of back on the bench again. They're not playing some of these guys. I mean, that's the way it is. Tyler O'Neill, I don't know. I had him on the other side too because technically he's a bench guy, but he's playing more because of Beavers. That's a thing. Weston Wilson and Jeremiah Jackson. Wilson is playing the least, I think, of everyone as well. Jackson's kind of found his way to the bench again. Not really playing as much. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think because Blaze Alexander's playing so well, I think it's kind of hard to keep him on the bench. So that's a real thing. There you go. That was May. They saved the season there. I think really Michael Ash might have saved his job with the play of his players for him that month. Was I don't think he'd have lasted much longer as well, and he's still seeing a lot less of the fire Elias here in the last league because the team's actually been better. Retain Heston Kjerstad in their 60 game, but as we do our Orioles report, 60 days and optioned him to Norfolk, option Trey Gibson in Norfolk, selected contract Weston Wilson. So this is the beginning of last week. As we know, if you watch this Orioles report, we do it, and then as we go through it, some of the stuff has changed, so we kind of cover that as we go through. I already mentioned Albert Suarez getting a one-year contract. I fully support that. Definitely deserves a one-year contract. He certainly hasn't deserved the way they've been treating him, just up down all the time. It's ridiculous. So at least now, if they do it, he's got a whole full-year contract. He can get paid as well, and he should. Cameron Wilson option to Norfolk as well. Transfer Dean Kramer to the 60-day DL as well. Agreed to terms on a minor league deal with Chris Kakama as well. Agreed to terms with Pedro Tovar on a minor league contract. Sent Dietrich Enns outright to Norfolk. So Enns decided to stay, and the organization didn't go to a different team, so he's going to be pitching in Norfolk as well. Good for him. I think we'll see him again. I think certainly if there's injuries, he'll be easy to go ahead and pull up these weekends. They've kind of slowed down with the bullpen a little bit because they were just all the time, just every day. But I don't think that's how you do it. I don't think you always bring guys in out like that as well. Orioles planning to reevaluate closer Ryan Housley for the upcoming 6-game road trip, after which the right-hander could head out on a rehab assignment. End of June, I'm kind of seeing he's kind of ramping up. I think the injury is kind of clearing himself up, and now you just got to get him ready. So that's always a good sign. Dean Kramer, I think we already talked about 15 games now to 60-day DL. According to him, on the shelf with the quadricep strains. Every time I see Dean Kramer report, it's like worse. So it's unfortunate because I think for years that kind of his calling card is he was healthy as much as he was. So now he's like getting worse there. So it's also hopefully Dean Kramer can get back here. Pete Alonso seen his average go up 43 points and his OPS go up 101 points on a 6-game hitting streak that helped the series opener in against the Sox. Alonso's been fantastic here of late. So this is exactly what we wanted as well, getting a guy that's actually getting the power production as well. We're going to have him for 4 more years, Pete Alonso. So hopefully we can continue to get that production. Who's been hot. Samuel Basal's been good. I think he's been good for a lot of the year as well. Best catcher combination in the entire MLB the Orioles have. Blaze Alexander. He's also good defensively. Really impressed with that. He's also good, too, not just at one spot, at all spots. I think he's made good defensive plays everywhere they put him. The last start Bradish had was fantastic as well. Anthony Nunez continues to struggle. Tyler Wells has struggled a little bit lately in the last 7 days. Also, Taylor Ward, he's getting on base, but the average is down. He's kind of had like 2 weeks like that, so I put him in the 9. I don't think he's been that fine with what he's done, but not overjoyed with that as well. I knew it. You were out of order. Prior to Tuesday, the Orioles had not beat a division opponent on the road 0-7 until they beat the Red Sox as well. So, as well, not playing well on the road as much. Obviously, most teams don't. That's true. It's true of a lot of teams, but not playing as well. But that's pretty weird that you're starting 0-7 at the start on the road there as well. What's happening next week at the Blue Jays, Toronto? I still call it Skydome. I think it was one of really a lot of people. I think it's forgotten how many people in baseball didn't like it because it's so non-traditional. But it's so much the precursor to what you're seeing now. Now it's like everybody wants a mall. Everybody wants luxury seats. Everybody wants that now. It's funny like how the Skydome was kind of almost panned by like baseball purists. It was just a impressive facility. So as well. And home to Seattle Mariners this week. Mariners have not been as good as advertised either one of these teams as well. So we will see. And also, got to go with Pete Alonso, the game-winning hit the other day as well. Orioles have really been playing well outside of tonight, obviously, here as well. So definitely check that out as well. But I definitely, too, think Pete Alonso was the player of the week this week. Alonso's been heating up. This is how it should be. The money he's getting, the expectations of him, we should be seeing this more. Him, Pete Alonso, Orioles, player of the week. So 8-1 loss tonight as well. Pitching just didn't have it. Bassett and Rogers haven't come around like as we've hoped. They've tried. Bassett's been a little better, but we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for joining us here for the Orioles Sports Podcast. Saturday, for sure, we will have our Genesis Notary Services live stream. We'll definitely check that out. You guys have a great rest of your day.